Hello everyone, it's your Realtor Katie, also known as your Realtor for Life. So, as we approach 2025, which is like technically like 31 days away, but in reality it's like a tomorrow, okay? So, hopefully you're all ready for 2025. You've set some goals, you've set some business plans, whatever your business is, just whatever your life is, you've set goals and plans. But I wanted to hop on here real quick to let you know about some new laws regarding real estate in 2025. So I'm just going to talk about one. There's about 4 or 5, and so I'll just so it doesn't get all long and drawn out, I'll take you one at a time. So effective immediately, but especially for 2025. Buyer representation agreements. I'm looking up because I want to make sure I use all the right terminology. Buyer representation agreements have been required for multiple listing service participants since actually August 17th of this year, 2024. So basically what that means is that beginning January 1st, 2025, that these agreements will be required by California law. Okay, California law for all real estate licensees and almost all sales transactions. So under this law, the representation period is capped at 3 months unless the buyer is a corporation, partnership, LLC. Renewals are permitted, but cannot be automatic and cannot exceed a new 3-month period. So basically, what that means, in case you haven't been paying attention, you haven't heard, anybody who's looking to buy a property, before they are able to go out and see a property, or I should say before a realtor can take you out to see a property that you may want to purchase, you have to sign a buyer representation agreement. That protects you and it protects us as realtors. The way it protects you is it tells you right up front what the expectations are, how much your agent expects to be compensated, and so that there are no surprises. At that time, that's when everything can be discussed. But until that agreement is completed and signed and agreed upon, we're not allowed to take you to see property, because that means that we have not disclosed to you what our expectations are once you hire me. Think of it as you get a job. You go for a job, you get the interview, and you get an agreement of how much money you're going to make, correct? So that there's no misunderstanding later on. So that's basically what that agreement is. Now, there's some people out here that says, I'm not going to sign it. Some realtors even saying, you don't have to sign. I'm not going to make my client sign it. Well, they're going to get fined and go to jail. Okay? So if you have a realtor who is not explaining that to you and not having you sign that, then they are breaking the law. That's what this big lawsuit was about. They're breaking the law and they're not disclosing to you what needs to be disclosed. So do you want to work with a realtor like that? Even if you don't really want to sign it, I'm sorry. Because as you probably know, realtors don't get paid until a transaction is complete. So that means that we could be literally working for free for quite a while. I actually had a client did not find a house for a year. So we do want some kind of, agreement that if I'm working with you, you're working with me, and if once we find you a house and it closes escrow, this is the amount I want to be paid. Now, in that agreement, it's negotiable who's going to pay it. Obviously, we're going to ask the sellers to help you pay for some of this, but seller, if they don't want to, they get to say no. And so we have to make sure that if they say that they won't help you pay me, that you can pay me. So I know some people aren't going to like this, but you have to understand that we can't work for free. Okay, I hate to say it just like that because I know it sounds so blunt, but we can't work for free. You're not expected to work for free when you go to your job. So I know this is going to be different for a lot of people. Might have some people saying, well, I just don't want to sign. And I just really have to say that if I have clients that don't want to sign it, I'm not going to be able to work with them, because number one, I'll be breaking the law. Number two, I'll be saying I'm willing to work for free, and I can't do that. Now, if I win the lottery and I win this $244 million, I might be able to work for free every once in a while. But going in, that is what this agreement is about. Now, this agreement has to be entered into as soon as possible before you write up a purchase offer. So, it would be best to get this signed at your initial consultation, so you can explain everything. And if there's some disagreement, either side can say, I don't really like that, so I don't think I want to move forward. Or the realtor could say, we can't come to an agreement, so, I think it might be best for you to find another realtor, however that shakes out. Okay, however that shakes out. So hopefully it won't become an issue, but remember, for people selling residential 1 to 4 unit property transactions, the agreement must be entered into prior to touring the property. So again, right up front, because that's your consultation, is where you're going to be talking about all this, what I do, my value proposition, and we're going to come to agreement. Do you want to work with me? So that's when that should come out, not after. No surprises, okay? The agreement has to include the compensation that will be owed to the real estate broker, the services to be rendered, when compensation is due, and contract termination provision. Agreements that don't meet the requirements are void and unenforceable. And so let me just say, a realtor who enters into a transaction or starts working with someone and they don't have this agreement, they're in violation of the licensing law, which is California law now, and subject to the Department of Real Estate discipline, which means could be fined and lose their license. Now, some people are saying, well, how are they going to know? How are they going to know? How does anybody know anything? How does the Department of Housing know when there's unethical, illegal things going on? How do you think they find out about a lot of the discrimination going on in this industry? They've hired people to call you to pretend to be a buyer, and they see what happens. So this is your realtor, Katie, your realtor for life. I will be, well, you know what? Ever since I've been licensed almost 18 years, and I've always, had that form filled out. It's not a new form. It's not a new requirement. I've always looked at it as an employment agreement, talked to my clients about it. Are you okay with it? Yes, no, and we go from there. So I'm going to continue to require myself to perform this duty, not just because it's the law, but because it's the right thing to do. It's how we do business. It's part of our ethics. We were trained to do this. This is not new. So next time you talk to a realtor, when they talk to you about this buyer-broker agreement, don't freak out. Just know that it's an employment agreement, and it's just so everything is out in the open and clear and can be agreed upon right up front. You don't have to agree. They don't have to agree. If there's no agreement, you find another realtor. It's as simple as that. You don't have to use anyone, okay? It all comes to trust, and if the realtor you chose, if you feel they're valuable enough to be paid, and then we're going to negotiate later. Who's going to pay that? How much will you pay? How much will they pay? And the good thing is that with a lot of the down payment assistance programs, most of that can be paid. So don't worry about it. Don't freak out about it. Just talk to your realtor and ask them. Make sure that if they don't bring that up on the first consultation, that you do. Okay, it's your realtor, Katie. I got lots of new things for you. So I'm glad if you stayed on this long. If you have any direct or specific questions, reach out to me. If you're looking for a realtor, I would love to have the job. Have a great day, and I'm looking forward to seeing a lot of you in 2025. It's your realtor, Katie.